What's up guys, SuperSamuraiM here, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Fridays. Guess who's back? Hey, what's up guys, guess who's back?
I'm back.
Back again.
Yeah. And what are we doing today, Manny?
We are going to be ranking our top 10 MCU movies because by the time this comes out, probably, I think it will come out the day before Endgame is officially released. So,
Pretty pumped for that.
yeah. So, but I didn't want to rank my top 10 alone because, you know, those are opinions and we can't have those floating around the internet, can we?
Nah, absolutely not. So, we're going to have both of us, and then we're just going to be arguing and yelling at each other the whole time. So it'll be fun for you guys.
If you love that, consider subscribing.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
I'm gonna put the notification bell right in front of your face. There we go.
Okay. Get out of here. Alright, whatever. So, we're going to start now?
Alright, so, at my number 10, I have Captain Marvel.
Interesting. Can you please tell us why?
I thought, I don't think it was trying to be the best, though I don't think it was the best. It's another solid origin story because Marvel has got this down at this point. So,
Interesting. I wouldn't agree with you about Captain Marvel being that high on the list. It didn't make my top 10, but interesting choice. But for number 10 for me, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because it's not, Marvel's good with sequels because they're not origin stories, right?
Yeah.
So we already know who Ant-Man is, and we don't have to get introduced and watch Wasp in very quickly. And Wasp is like epic in that movie. Like she's kicking butt, and then Paul Rudd, awesome, and the actors are great. It's just really funny, and it just works as a solid Marvel movie.
all great points, but I could argue that the Ant-Man movies fittingly have the smallest scale stakes.
Oh, interesting.
Because, yeah, there's not really much at stake there.
Well, it was meant for a big stake, just a cute little movie. And it helps with, talks about family and things like that. But we could just sit here arguing all day. So now let's go to our
Number 9! I have Spider-Man Homecoming.
Wow. Okay. So, a little low on the list, I'd say. Because, I'll talk about that later.
That's how ranking works.
I'll talk about that later. Because I have a few things to say about that movie. But interesting choice for your on the bottom. But for my number 9, I have Avengers Age of Ultron. Because...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even have that on my list.
Well, so here's the thing. Age of Ultron, you've met the Avengers already, and you see them having a good time. And then all of a sudden, you got this big baddie that Tony Stark and the Hulk create. And then you just got, the stakes, once again, are high. The world's in danger. And you meet these new characters, and you got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. We don't really talk about Quicksilver that much because there are a few things wrong there. But... even so, great movie. We got introduced more to the different characters. We got to know more about Hawkeye. We got to know more about Iron Man. It was a good opening, and we got introduced with some epic fight scenes. For instance, the Hulkbuster armor against the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Along with the great comedy, and I think it was a solid Avengers movie, despite what some people say.
Okay, for my number 8, I have Winter Soldier, Captain America.
Once again, a little lower than I would have expected. But, once again, I'll... get to that later, because I have a few things to say about that movie also. Now, my number 8, I have some that a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with. I have Doctor Strange. So this was probably just personally, I love Doctor Strange. I love his magic powers, and I love the scope of the movie. Like, you have these mind-bending, you get to see, New York flipped upside down and on its side, and you got these awesome scenes, you got these awesome moments, and it gets a little slow start in the beginning. But it's an origin story. So like all it'll happen, it still has some pretty cool fight scenes between magic users. It's got some awesome scenery with like I said, you get to see New York collapse upon itself upside down, and you meet one of the most famous bad guys in Marvel Universe, Dormammu.
Oh,
and
yeah. I thought you were talking about Caecilius. But
no, not Caecilius. Dormammu.
Yeah.
But We haven't seen a lot of him, but hopefully we'll see a lot more of Dormammu and Doctor Strange 2 when it comes out.
Yeah, Dormammu. Thor Ragnarok. I have number 7.
What do you got to say about that movie?
Thor Ragnarok, best in the Thor trilogy.
Absolutely.
It's a great redemption for a Thor story arc because it was a little lacking after Age of Ultron. And the comedy works so well. Competent director, Taika Waititi. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's now one of my favorite Avengers now, thanks to this movie.
I agree. I'll talk more about that movie later because it's on my list, but not yet. But for number 7, I have Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. I have this one a little low on my list, but there are a lot of good Marvel movies, and Guardians of the Galaxy is an origin story, but it's one that's a little shakes the boundaries a little bit. So Guardians of the Galaxy is for once it's about a team, which is a little different than that Marvel Cinematic Universe does. We have the Avengers, of course, but Guardians of the Galaxy is the first standalone that we've seen of a different team of heroes. So but they're not really heroes, which is another thing. They're also like thieves and little good, a little bad, a little bit of both, as they say. Funny cast, good. They have a lot of good jokes in there. A good soundtrack, of course.
Oh yeah.
And it was very funny. You know, you've got all the funny characters, different scope because it's one of the first Marvel movies set in big space. If you don't include Thor, it's one that's set in the scope of space, which really it's a lot greater scope, and we see a lot more of that, of course, in Guardians 2 and Infinity War. But this is the first we see of this, and I just really enjoyed it, and rewatchable, of course.
All right. We're moving along. Number 6, I have Iron Man.
Iron Man, interesting. Tell us more about that.
Iron Man, first movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, started off strong. Also, in this year, 2008, we got 2 fantastic superhero movies. We got The Dark Knight, and we got Iron Man coming out in the same year. So that was just a great year for cinema right there. Iron Man, I think, perfect. I think Robert Downey Jr. is probably the best cast for this role of Tony Stark. And yeah, not Tom Cruise.
Good points. I do agree. Robert Downey Jr. was a good choice for Tony Stark. He just fits the character perfectly, and it was a good superhero movie. I agree with that. But my number 6 was Thor Ragnarok for my choice.
Oh wow! So
we already covered it already, but Thor Ragnarok, like we already went over this, but once again, Marvel showed us basically that they can change a character how they want. So the first 2 Thor movies were a little bland, or a little, I guess you could say, boring.
Especially Thor 2.
Yeah, Thor.
My least favorite MCU movie.
Dark World is not a great movie, but Thor Ragnarok, they kind of flipped the script a little bit. They showed the funny side of Thor, and basically they kind of just let Chris Hemsworth loose on this one. They just let him loose. They showed his funny side, and they showed us his funny side, and I really had a good laugh at that one.
Yep.
I remember I saw that one in the theater twice. It was really enjoyable for me. Good battles, good characters, and just overall a good movie.
Yeah, Marvel movies are the ones I always see in theaters now, more than once, if I enjoy them. I've only seen Captain Marvel once. I do want to see it again, though.
Coming in at number 5, Manny.
Well, you guys should probably already know my top 5, but just in case you missed those videos, at number 5, I have Guardians of the Galaxy.
Interesting. Tell us more about that one.
See, this was my biggest surprise movie of 2014, because Guardians of the Galaxy, like, I was a little bit off-put about it. I was like, what is it? I didn't even know what Guardians of the Galaxy was. I just knew that Chris Pratt...
And not a true fan.
Yeah. Chris Pratt was... Wow. Chris Pratt was that weird guy on Parks and Rec, and that's all I knew about him. Visually, stunning. Soundtrack is amazing. Cast does so well with the characters. Competent director, James Gunn. Rip. Anyway. We rehired him. We rehired him. Because, Marvel couldn't live with their own failure. Anyway.
Back to me.
Yeah, this movie genuinely surprised me. and ended up being one of my favorites.
My number 5, I have Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh, much higher.
Yes, because so here's the thing. I didn't find anything too interesting in The Winter Soldier, but after looking back, I've seen it a few times now because it plays on TV a few times. Looking back on it, I find it as a really interesting movie because we've already been with. It shows us how Captain America does on the field now that he's in the modern world, and it shows us like his abilities and his like he takes down like planes and he can hold the helicopters to buildings, and it just shows us like just how awesome Captain America can be. Not only that, it introduces us to a new character.
Two new characters, actually.
Two new characters introduced to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, both of which are very interesting characters in the comics.
And they're getting their own TV series on Disney Plus.
Okay.
So hyped for that.
But yeah, and it also shows us a little more about Black Widow. Of course, we saw a little more of her in Iron Man 2, but Captain America: The Winter Soldier gives us also a scope of how they work together, and it was just a lot interesting to watch. It had a lot of good action scenes. For instance, that car chase with Nick Fury.
That still has me on the edge of my seat.
I love rewatching that one. It's very interesting. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, I would recommend, and it shows us the downfall of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a big deal, I would have to say, considering we've been with S.H.I.E.L.D. for the entire other Marvel movies after that, before that. So it was a big deal. And also,
the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a big plot point and carries over to the rest of the MCU, and it affects a lot of what happens.
Interesting.
Number 4, I have The Avengers, the first Avengers.
Interesting enough, I also have Marvel's The Avengers as my number 4.
Hey!
So, let's talk about that one a little more, now that we both have it.
So, The Avengers, this came out in 2012. This is what actually got me into the MCU. Like, after I saw The Avengers, this is like the best movie I ever saw. The Avengers is like probably in 2012 it was like the biggest crossover like you could ever see.
Yeah.
Between like these already established characters and you know what Joss Whedon does, like he takes what these characters are, simplifies them enough so that you understand what they are, so that they can come together and just create this really awesome story. And a lot of the events that happen in this movie also affect a bunch of what happens in the later movies, much like in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Avengers is a great movie. I still like watching it. It established how funny the Marvel Universe can be. It introduces the characters that were already established in the previous movies. You know, we got Captain America, we got Iron Man, the Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. I would have liked to see a little more of the good guy Hawkeye in that movie, though. But of course we're going to get a little more of that more in the future. But still a great movie. Shows us more about Thor, shows us more about Loki. And it was just very interesting, high stakes, and like we said, a good movie, and it was the start of something great.
Yep. And I think this is probably a popular opinion, but I think The Avengers is probably the most rewatchable out of all the other Marvel movies. Number 3. Number Trace. At number 3, I have Black Panther.
Okay.
The room got quieter.
Yeah, it did. So, tell us about Black Panther.
Black Panther, oh man. Let me just say that Black Panther, I was hyped for this movie ever since I saw Civil War. I just wanted to see the world of Wakanda be brought to life because it's so immersive, and the way that vibranium works in that world is just so compelling, and also brought life to the character of T'Challa, like how the events of Civil War affect the events of Black Panther and stuff. Also, the villain, a lot of people don't like the villain, Killmonger. I think he was a great villain to have, but overall, great movie, Oscar worthy, apparently. So,
all right, interesting choice. You already know as well. I have a few little peeves about Black Panther, but not denying it's a great movie. Shuri is very funny. So my number 3 choice for my list is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh wow, much higher.
Why did you? Wow, so
Much higher
Spider-Man
than I
Homecoming.
expected.
So Spider-Man is one of Marvel's most notable superheroes. Like it or hate it, that's how it is. And I'm pretty sure if you think about Marvel, you probably are going to think about Spider-Man. Just like how if you think of DC, you think about Batman or Superman. But like I said, Spider-Man is very iconic, and Spider-Man Homecoming shows us something that we haven't seen before about Spider-Man. Tom Holland is a great choice for Peter Parker. He represents him really well. And he's got the tone for it. He looks very young, despite being in his 20s.
and since Peter Parker got younger, I guess Aunt May had to get younger herself.
No.
So Marissa Tomei.
Nope, we're not talking about that.
Okay.
Cut that part out. Okay.
I will cut that part out.
So, like I said, Spider-Man Homecoming, great movie, interesting villain, and it showed us a lot about Spider-Man. It showed us a good connection between Iron Man and Spider-Man, which was an interesting point because we never really had that in the past Spider-Man movies. We usually had a relationship with there's usually always the girl in Spider-Man, and we did have that in this movie.
Kind of.
But that's the thing.
It wasn't really the main focus.
It wasn't the main focus, and that plot twist really
had me.
It had my heart. It stopped me for a second because so if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. But Peter Parker goes up to I forgot her name, Lizzie's house. Liz's house, and he knocks on the door, and who answers the door? And it's the Vulture.
Yeah.
And it's like a gut punch. If anything, it's
when I saw that in the theater, the whole theater was like, "Oh!"
Yeah, I remember that. Everybody was like, "Oh!" The whole room got quiet, and it was a very good twist. Very good. I mean, the stakes, like you said, may not have been as big, but it was still overall a good movie, a good Spider-Man movie, and I personally really enjoyed it. And my opinion, it was my favorite standalone Marvel movie. Number two. This is where the fighting starts.
This is where the fists fly and the heads roll. Yeah. At number 2, I have Captain America: Civil War.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Manny.
Civil War. Oh boy, I was so hyped about because I'd read some of the Civil War comics, and I was like, man, how could this be brought to life on the big screen? And sure enough, the Russo brothers were able to create this massive clash of ideologies between Team Stark and Team Rogers. Team Captain America.
Team Cap and Team Iron Man.
Team Cap and Team Iron Man. I'm Team Iron Man all the way.
Team Cap for the win. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh boy. We're gonna have a discussion about that.
Yeah, but later. Like we said, this is just our opinions. And anyway.
Yes, Matt Bing.
Just wait for this one. At number 2, I have Avengers Infinity War.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. And yeah, I know you better put the picture up because I know you're not going to want to, but you're going to put the picture up right there. And so Avengers Infinity War. So this was one of the most recent Marvel movies to come out, besides Ant-Man and the Wasp, the most recent Avengers movie to come out. Infinity War is crazy and
fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's a good crazy.
Crazy fantastic.
Not every movie's perfect, of course. But
no movie's perfect.
This movie is really good. I admit, I saw in the theaters, and I was like, I wonder how they're going to pull this off. And whatever they did, they pulled it off. They managed to find some way to connect every single character in the Marvel Universe. And the storyline comes together beautifully. And Thanos is shown a lot in this movie, despite him not being a big figure in the last couple of movies. You get him said, there's a few screen time in Guardians of the Galaxy. But we never get a pivotal, in-person, 10 minutes. In this movie, we got more than 2. We got, I think it was 30 minutes of him on screen.
If anything, my biggest worry was that Thanos wasn't going to be that huge of a villain. My theory was that he was going to be this big bad, I'm power hungry just for the sake of being power hungry. But no, he has emotions. He shows a lot of emotion. And Josh Brolin just gives new life to the character of Thanos and his motivations and shiz and yeah.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Of course, we said this before. All the actors were really well, very funny, of course, as the Marvel tends to be, and it was just a good step in the Marvel universe
in the right direction. So now I'm curious what your number 1 is, because it's not Civil War. That's all I know.
All right. At number 1,
At number one, you guys know. I have Infinity War's number one. Infinity War's number one, always. Until Endgame comes out, which, it could flop, it could succeed. We don't know, but I know for a fact that Endgame is going to be pretty banging. So, you're number one. I'm curious.
Were you not going to talk about it, or are you just going to...
Oh, Infinity... So here's...
Well, you've already talked about it a little
bit.
bit.
Well, we talked about it a little bit, but Infinity War, probably one of the best comic movies you could ever see right now. But yeah, this movie just has just the best pretty banging moments of the entire MCU. You got Thor entering Wakanda. You got that whole battle on Titan. You got the battle in Wakanda itself.
There are a few problems with that one, but we don't talk about that.
We're not going to talk about the flaws yet, but and then it ends in the most unexpected way possible. Thanos does the unthinkable, spoilers, and completes the Infinity Gauntlet, snaps half of the universe away.
I have to admit, even though it was my number two, I have to admit that was a good change of motion. Yet Thanos win, which so far we haven't really seen in a Marvel movie a villain win, as far as I know.
Because
it was just very unexpected to see half the heroes that you've grown up loving just disintegrate in front of your eyes. They're
even though you knew in the back of the mind they were gonna return, but we don't talk about that.
But it's all right because you never know what's gonna happen. And like I said, this I guess you could call it a twist. Was very unexpected, and it was just a very just gut punch as I used before. But it really is. It's just a.
I walked out of that movie and the ending had me floored.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I was speechless for the next few minutes. My camera gave out. So, that's it for this video. And lots more content coming out soon. Especially one you guys have been waiting for a very long time. That has to do with swords.
Alright. That's this video.
See you guys later. Bye.